Hello people, Super Ambassador again doing his thing. As usual, I just stumbled upon these videos and I decided to come and react, give my opinion to it. And then, yeah, hopefully you give your opinion, we could have an exchange and we could all learn from this process. So, there are a couple of things I stumbled upon, which is like facts about Africa to get every African thinking. That's just how I put the idea together.
Roughly 25% of the world mass is Africa. 25% roughly of the world's population is Africa. 60% of the world's arable, untapped arable land is in Africa. Over 45% of the world's strategic minerals reside in Africa. And yet, we as Africa contribute just over 2% of the GDP of the world. Just over 2%. All of those statistics render us 2% of the world's productivity. Although the rest of the world benefits from this imbalance, I strongly believe that there would be greater benefit if there was more balance in this world.
The fact that 25% of the world mass is African or will be African. 25% of the world population will be African. And then 60% of the world untapped arable land is in Africa. And then 45% of the world's strategic minerals is in Africa. And then Africa, that's where it becomes funny now. So I've listed all these very good statistics that are in favor of Africa. This is the sad part. Africa contributes to over 2% of the world GDP. So for a continent that has 25% of the world mass, 25% of the world population, 60% of the world untapped arable land, 45% of the world's strategic minerals, they produce 2% of the world GDP. Why? Because we have not known or we have not taught on how we can convert our resources to added value or to final products which humanity can use. So we are just passive human beings existing on this earth. For those who are praying, they are praying. For those who are drinking and partying, they're drinking and partying. And then hoping that the world will just work in their favor. Those are the numbers to back things which say, if we cannot convert all of those advantages to comparative advantages to dominate the world, or at least have our fair share in the global GDP, then why are we complaining? So, and also we should have in mind that the rest of the world benefits from this imbalance. Because if, let's say, for example, if we take just a combination of our 45% of minerals, strategic minerals, and our 60% of arable land, which means that's land which we can plant and cultivate on, then worst case scenario, Africa should be on at least 35 to 40% of the world GDP, but we're on 2%. And the extra of that GDP goes to other countries who are gladly enjoying it, and rightfully so. And if Africans don't do anything about it, nobody's going to help you out of it because it's not in their interest to help you out of it. Just have that at the back of your mind. So from development programs to church to religion to whatever, all of those things could give you an enabling environment or expose you to certain realities. But if you don't do anything about what you're exposed to, that's upon you. That's our problem to deal with. And lastly, I even make a case to think that it's better if there's balance. So this is a play I usually make to the rest of the world, where I say it's better if the world is a more balanced and just world for everybody. But if not, we are just going to struggle to see what makes Africa better. But I think that if there's a just world where everybody is happy, it's better. But if everybody is not happy when everybody is happy, then we just have to be worried on how can we be happy at least. So some of these things, I just wanted to drop out some of these numbers to think about it. Like, why are you going to have all of this human resource, all of this arable land, all of these natural minerals, but you are still very poor? It's not even like we have 10% or 15%. We have 2% of the world GDP. When we have the 60% arable land, 45% of the strategic minerals, but we have 2% of the world GDP. These are the crazy things that we should think about. We wonder why we are poor, and we think that the solution is to run away from our reality. But I always say this, right? The mindset that caused us to have just 2% of the GDP, that's our problem. It's not the location, it's our mindset. So if we don't do anything about this mindset, we'll still have 2% GDP. And even when we leave Africa or the next generation comes, they will still suffer from this 2% because we don't have that mindset to build together, to be strategic, to compete in the global world. As usual, I say what I think. Drop your opinion in the comment section. Your opinion matters. Your ambassador, I'm out.
Just my opinion.